Welcome to ARG Communications tutorial on presence management within ZAC. In a previous tutorial, we showed you how to log into your ZAC client. In this tutorial, we're going to show you how to manage your presence. And presence is important so that people know what status you're currently in. It helps with efficiency, call management, and the ease of knowing where certain people are within your organization. In this case, I have two types of presence, okay, that I can manage. One is my personal presence. The other is my group presence. And if you remember in the logging in tutorial, if you're a member of a user group, you are presented with that upon login. And when you're a member of a user group, which you can log in and log out of, okay, hunt groups you cannot log in and log out of. However, this presence does apply to all groups that you belong to. Okay, so the first thing I'll go through is my personal presence. Okay, in my personal presence, right now I show available. So does Aaron, Jeff, Jennifer, Joe, and Marie. Okay, which means we're at our desk, we're available to take calls, our phones will ring, etc. If I need to step away from my desk, if I need to go out into the field, if I need to go into a meeting, I'm going to want to change my presence of my my ZAC, which also changes how my phone functions. And again, in a previous tutorial, we showed you the call handling rules that you could set up under options and settings. So you can set up your phone or your service to do certain things with when your presence is set to certain settings. In this case, if I was going to walk away from my desk, maybe I had to step into the warehouse, maybe I had to go grab something off a printer that's not nearby, I could then tell everybody that I will be right back. So I can click on available, and these are the options you have within your presence management. So in this case, I'm going to be right back. I can also put a presence note, which when you use the default, it'll say be right back here. If I put a presence note in here, maybe something like in warehouse, okay, and I click enter, my presence is still be right back, indicated by this little orange or yellowish coloring clock, but they also know I'm in the warehouse. So if they actually had to get a hold of me, they'd be able to call me in the warehouse on the phone for that extension. Okay. When I come back to my desk, I just simply click available. But you notice in the warehouse is still here, so I want to make sure that I delete my presence note as well, so it goes back to available. Okay. Importance of using this again is your call handling rules. And if you remember here under call handling, you can set up different rules based on presence, right? So if I set my presence and I tell it what specific presence that I'm in and what to do when I'm in that presence. Could be taking a message, could be forwarding call, could be finding me. Okay, and you tell it where to find you at. Try different numbers. You can put several different numbers in here. How many seconds to wait, etc. Okay, it could be forwarded to somebody else in the organization. So you can set up rules. That's why it's important that you utilize your presence management for call management. The other part of it is whatever is shown here, all your users see, like I see that these users are available. If Aaron was out of the office, he would set his presence to not available, and then could put a note here on service calls or in the field. If he was out to lunch, or if I go out to lunch, I could set my presence to out at lunch, so they know I'm not in the office. I'm at lunch, or I could be even at my desk eating my lunch, or in the kitchen. But I'm in an at lunch status. And your calls will end up going directly to your voicemail. And in any of these statuses, you can tell your calls what to do. Okay. In a meeting, could be I'm in a manager's meeting that we have every Friday, or I could have a peer offline. And anytime you set a presence for your personal self here, it will also change here for your group presence, because if you're unavailable to take calls at your desk, you're also unavailable to take calls for the group. Okay, so if I set this to not available, you see now my group presence is not available. If I set it back, it's back to available. Now, the group presence is separate from your personal presence. Changing your group presence does not affect your ability to receive personal calls at your extension, only receiving calls from the group. And there's really only two presence options you can choose from within groups, and that's three: available, which is available, not available, and wrap up. Not available, self-explanatory, you can't receive calls. Wrap up will allow you to finish documentation if you received a call from the group and you need to fill out documentation. There's a predetermined time for this set by the system administrator until it flips back to available to receive another call from that group. So if you're in a group where, say, you're taking a service call for the service department and you need to fill out a service ticket, you might need time to do that before receiving another call for service. So I might set myself up to wrap up time. Just note, if you're part of a group and you click not available, okay, as you can see, it didn't change my personal status. So if somebody's looking at my buddy list or their contact list, I'm going to show available. However, your supervisors do have an ability to see your group presence by just simply clicking on agent roles. And in agent roles, like here for service, if I was a supervisor of service and I see that, well, I'm not, or Anthony and me myself is not available, I might want to know why he's not available, okay, when he should be to answer calls. So setting yourself to not available to not take calls is not going to hide it from other people within your groups. They're going to know that you're not available, and they might want to know why. So I just want to make that known up front. Once I set myself to available, I click back to available in all the groups that I'm a part of. Okay. So that's presence management. And presence management, again, is important so that if you're not available, your administrative people answering the phone are not wasting time by trying to call you, waiting for your phone to ring to let you know somebody's on the phone, or transferring a call to you. They can simply look at their screen, know that you're not available, and let the customer or caller know that you're not available, and offer to take a message or put you into voicemail, etc. So it does help with efficiency on knowing. The other thing with presence management that I'll show you real quick before I go is you can set your presence to automatically change. Say you walk away from your desk and you forget to change it, okay, and after a fixed amount of time that you determine, you could have your presence change, and you do that under those same options and settings and under applications. And when you go into applications, you'll probably be at the top. You're just going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you have automatic presence change. Okay, and you have a couple options here. The most common option, or the option that I use, would be the middle option. All of these will be unchecked, like this when you come in. To enable it, you simply click the button, and then you put your determined minutes on how long you want the system or software to wait before changing your presence. So in this case, after 5 minutes of inactivity, which means I haven't touched my keyboard or my mouse, okay, I want the system to automatically set my presence to be right back, because I could have just stepped away from my desk. I could have just ran out real quick, and I haven't touched my computer in a set amount of minutes. So it'll click to be right back until I come back. Alternatively, sometimes you forget to set yourself to not available. So what you might want to do is click this button here, and then after another 5 minutes, okay, of inactivity, set my presence to not available if it is currently be right back. So this went from available to be right back. This one's going from be right back to not available. Okay, so you could do that, or alternatively, if you would prefer, if you have a set amount of time before your computer locks, you can have it change when your computer goes into a lock status from be right back to not available. This way, if you accidentally walk away from your desk, leave the office, after these set amount of times, your presence is going to change automatically for you, and allow others to know that you're not available. Now, if you're using your cell phone application, you might not want to use this at all, or you might just want to use what I use with the be right back in 5 minutes, because most likely if I just walked away from my desk, I'm going to be right back. In other cases, when I leave the office, I have my cell phone app on, which means I'm available to take calls, and I can adjust my personal presence from my cell phone application as well. Right at the top of the cell phone screen, you'll see your name and available just like this. Simply click on it and change your presence. So if I needed to go into a meeting, or I forgot and I'm leaving for the day, I can change this from my cell phone application. So that's pretty much what there is for presence, and I appreciate you watching, and stay tuned for more tutorials.